Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome to another episode of Mingles with Jingles. It's been a rough day so far. And I haven't been out of bed for that long. So, you know how I'm always going on about how I am crap. It is true. This isn't just some amusing character flaw that I've engineered for the purposes of creating some kind of amusing YouTube personality. I really am spectacularly shit at most things that I do. Giving you one example, because it just happened. So I wake up and the cat litter that I use is really, really good up until the point where it gets saturated with cat piss. And at that point, it instantly generates the worst smell you've ever smelled. So you know when the litter needs changing. So I wake up and I think, oh shit, okay, I better change the cat litter. So we've got two cat litters, one upstairs, one downstairs. So I go through the process of emptying the litter trays, not pleasant, cleaning them, and then I go to refill them with fresh cat litter. And that's when I realise I don't have any more cat litter. Now, how this happened, I have no idea, because normally when I use the last bag, I instantly reorder another bag. But for some reason I didn't do that. So me being crap, number one. So I head over to the PC and I reorder some more cat litter from Amazon. But that's not going to do me any good today because I've just emptied the litter trays and the cats have got nowhere to take a piss or have it, take a dump. But that's alright because there's a pet shop not that far. It's easily within walking distance of where I live. And even though, because I record these on a Sunday, even though it's a Sunday, I know it opens at 10 a.m. which is in a few minutes. So, fine, okay. So I get dressed, put my coat on, get my wallet, take the old cat litter out, dump it in the bins, and head over to this pet shop. And I get there 2 minutes after 10 o'clock, and it's closed. Shit. The sign outside clearly says, Sunday, open 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., but it's closed. Great. That's all right, there's a supermarket just around the corner, they'll have cat litter in there. And I know they're open on a Sunday as well, so I'll wander around to the supermarket. And the sign out front also clearly says open 10 a.m. And it's also closed. And it's now, 10 minutes past 10 o'clock in the morning. Shit. And then it starts to rain. And I mean, it's really raining. The heavens open and it's like the flood. The wind builds up to gale force. I'm drenched, I'm soaked wet within seconds, and I walk home without any cat litter. And it's at that point where I think to myself, hang on, did the clocks go back an hour? Are we not in British summertime anymore? Is it not actually 10 a.m? Is it actually 9:10 a.m? Oh God, yeah, it is. Great. So I get home, I'm soaking wet, I don't have any cat litter, and that's when it occurs to me, maybe, because it didn't make any sense that I wouldn't reorder cat litter when I used the last bag. But there was no cat litter in the cupboard upstairs where I keep it. I didn't move it to the cupboard downstairs, did I? Yes, I did. That's 2 fresh bags of cat litter. Right. Oh, so I'm soaking wet. I've wandered halfway around town for no good reason. Like I said, I'm crap. Speaking of people being crap, that's a good segue there for you, isn't it? Oh, actually, that's another example of me being crap. I discovered something this week. I've been pronouncing segue wrong my entire life. My whole life, I thought segue was spelled like this. Now, in my defence, and it's not much of a defence, but it's the only one I've got, I suspect I'm probably not alone. But that's because we've all been fooled by, this thing. The Segway. And it's spelled like this. One of those sort of 2-wheeled self-balancing transportation thingies made by America's Segway Corporation. The reason they spell the name of the thing that way is because stupid people like me don't know how Segway is actually spelled. For those of you who aren't already laughing your asses off, before I explain and show you exactly how Segway is spelled and then explain how I've been mispronouncing it my entire life, A little bit of context for you, which makes me look like an even bigger idiot than I actually am. One of my personal pet peeves is the dumbing down of the English language. Let me give you a couple of examples of the way getting stuff wrong in English just doesn't even officially matter anymore. Right? So literally and figuratively. So people have been getting these two words wrong forever. When people say, oh, I was literally scared to death. No, you weren't, because if you'd been literally scared to death, you wouldn't be around to tell us about it, because you'd just been scared to death. You'd be dead. What you meant to say was, you were figuratively scared to death. As in, it was as if I'd been scared to death, but obviously that didn't really happen. It's simply a figure of speech, hence figuratively. Yeah? I went to school and paid attention and learned all of these things. I know how to use an apostrophe, right? Apparently, just doesn't fucking matter anymore. And it's particularly annoying to me because when I was in the Navy, I spent a significant portion of my free time teaching my shipmates how to use, amongst other things, the apostrophe correctly. And I mean, officially, I'm not just being one of these grammar Nazis, but I used to teach people basic levels of English in order for them to be qualified for promotion. I mean, you know, these lads weren't stupid or anything. They just didn't respond well to formal education when they were in school. And there's this thing in the Navy, I don't know if they still have it, it was called the NAMET test, and it basically stood for Naval Mathematics and English Test, and you had to pass the NAMET test in order to be qualified and eligible for promotion to leading rate, which is, it's like the Navy's equivalent of the corporal. So it's the first step on the promotion ladder. It's fairly important. And I was really proud of the lads that I taught because I got them all a passing grade. And they all went on to be selected for and promoted to leading marine engineer mechanic and leading chef and so on and so on. And now apparently it just doesn't fucking matter. So they wasted all of that time learning how to use the apostrophe. Because the thing about language is, it evolves. It's like the whole difference between literally and figuratively. If enough people get it wrong often enough, eventually the dictionaries just give up. I'm not joking, right? And what is standard and common use becomes the new rule, even if it's wrong. So things like literally and figuratively, like knowing where and how to use an apostrophe correctly, now officially doesn't fucking matter. So all that time I spent learning how to use the apostrophe and the difference between literally and figuratively, and all those lads I taught the difference to, we basically just wasted our time. And we don't get that time back. And then there's other things, like, well, let me give you another couple of examples. And it's related, and it's to do with the way things are spelled, and it leads me back to segue. I promised I would get back to that, don't worry, I haven't forgotten. So, and largely, I'm afraid, America, this is your fault. Right. So, a couple of examples here, and the first one is to do with a town called Norwich in the USA. I think it's in... Oh, and I'm on dangerous ground here, because it's spelled Connecticut, you know, the state, but I believe you don't pronounce the second C, and they actually pronounce it Connecticut. But anyway, moving on. The town of Norwich in Connecticut. It's quite a popular holiday destination, and seasonally that means that the population of the town like quadruples during the holiday season. But here's the thing. The town is called Norwich, and it's named after the British town of the same name in Norfolk, and it's spelled like this, Norwich. Now, in America's defence, I admit there's a bit of the Worcester sauce thing going on there. It looks like that should be pronounced Norwich, and that, of course, is the way at least half of all of the tourists that flood to this place every year do actually pronounce the name of the town, because in their defence, that is the way it is written. The other half of the tourists at least pronounce it correctly, Norwich, but they spell it like this. This has become such a problem for the good people of Norwich that they actually had a referendum about changing the way the name of the town was spelled to the way the tourists were getting it wrong. And then my other example And this is one that I often use when it comes to people just getting shit wrong because that's how it sounds, even if it's not the way it's actually spelled. It is the name, and there are loads of examples of this, but the one that I always focus on is the name Alicia, usually spelled like this. That's wrong, by the way. If this is your name, or if you know anybody who has that name, then either your or their parents don't know how to spell Alicia, because it's actually spelled like this. Now, hands up, let's hear it in the comments, everybody who's seen that name written down and thought it was pronounced Alicia. In fact, and this makes it even worse, you may know somebody who has that name and they pronounce it Alicia. Which is equally wrong. That is Alicia. And here's where we get back to the segue thing. And I end up revealing myself as a massive fraud and hypocrite who's just as bad as all of the people I've been ranting about so far in this episode of Meals with Jingles. Segue. The act of transitioning between two different subjects, not the two-wheeled self-stabilized mobility device developed and sold by the Segue Corporation of America. Except I was this many years old when I discovered, to my horror, that Segue, spelled like this, is the two-wheeled self-stabilizing mobility device developed and sold by the Segue Corporation of the United States of America. And Segue, spelled like this, is the act of transitioning between two different subjects. And my entire life, I have been pronouncing that. Oh, this is hard for me to admit. I've been pronouncing that Sieg. One at the same time. And without the slightest trace of self-awareness or embarrassment, I've been doing my nut about people who don't know how to spell or pronounce the names of the towns in Connecticut that they go on holiday to, or people who don't know how to spell the names that they give their own fucking children, and I'm just as bad. And yet the thing is, it doesn't matter, because as long as I just keep getting segue or sieg wrong long enough and often enough, as I'm sure many other people also do, eventually the dictionary will give up and just say, whatever, you're right. So, nevertheless, I do still feel vaguely cheated. Anyway. What were we actually... Because the whole point of this was we were going to segue into something else about other people being equally crap. What was that? Oh yeah, that was it. Grand Theft Auto 6. So, I don't know if you've been keeping track. Rockstar have confirmed that there will be a Grand Theft Auto 6, but they haven't made any announcements officially about Grand Theft Auto 6. And this has been driving the Grand Theft Auto community absolutely nuts. So much so that they've been seeing signs. It's probably the only really accurate way to describe it. So this all kind of started, I think it was last month, when this promotional image popped up for Grand Theft Auto Online's Moon Festival event. So you can see a couple of characters in these red t-shirts standing in front of the Vinewood, which is Grand Theft Auto's version of Hollywood's sign. And there's a moon in the background as well. The second this image dropped, the conspiracy theorists went into overdrive, resulting in tweets like this, theorizing that because the characters are blocking out all but basically the VI of Vinewood, and of course VI is the Roman numeral for 6, and then looking at the moon in the background, which is a waning gibbous at, oh my god, I mean the detail that they go into here. The moon only enters that phase on Monday the 2nd of October and then again on Wednesday the 1st of November. Could this latest tweet not only tease Grand Theft Auto 6 but point to the date of the next big announcement? No, probably not. But that didn't stop everybody losing their minds over it. And in fact, the guy who made this tweet, Dirty Worker here, he even admits that he kind of made it as a joke. But at the same time, I mean, Rockstar do like hiding things in plain sight, so you never know. Maybe the 1st of November there is going to be a big announcement about Grand Theft Auto 6, but yeah, probably not. But wait, there's more. Does anybody remember this? This was a t-shirt that they added for the 10th anniversary of Grand Theft Auto saying, Rockstar says relax. Now, this is a reference to the song Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. And in 1983, when the song was released, t-shirts like this, but saying Frankie says relax, were really, really popular. Well, somebody noticed that the single was actually released on the 24th of October, 1983. Oh my God, there's going to be a Grand Theft Auto 6 announcement on the 24th of October. Well, the 24th of October came and went, and there was, of course, no announcement from Rockstar about Grand Theft Auto 6. Or was there? Because Rockstar did tweet something on the 24th of October. They tweeted this. This month's devilish and dapper Red Dead Online community-inspired outfit comes from YouTuber @BoganBav. Traverse the map in a sinister style by claiming these items from participating tailors and the Wheel, Rawson & Co. catalogue, and then providing a link. So where's the Grand Theft Auto 6 announcement there? I mean, I don't see one. Some people did. Yes, really. Check this out. Oh my God, they've been hiding it in plain sight all this time. No, it's there. It's clear as day. There's obviously a V and a 1 there. This is the Grand Theft... No, it isn't. It's... The thing is, though, I'm sitting here laughing my ass off, as I suspect many of you are too, about these wild conspiracy theories. But Rockstar are exactly the kind of developers who, while they probably never intended to tease anything, I mean, you know, they pay attention to social media. They'll see all of these conspiracy theories, and while they may have never originally intended to tease anything about Grand Theft Auto 6, they might actually be doing it now just to continue to wind up all of the conspiracy theorists. And I think that's fantastic because it's very likely, they're very likely actually now sitting down and thinking of, so what can we do next? What can we do next that's going to drive them all nuts? I mean, there's never going to be an actual announcement until they're ready to make an announcement, but Rockstar are exactly the kind of developers who would take delight in continuing to wind up the community with things that could be interpreted as announcements, no matter how wildly hidden they are. So, I mean, yeah, it all seems ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but there might actually be a grain of truth to it. Anyway, I'm going to continue to pay attention to this just to see what other kind of crazy theories people can come out with, because they are funny. And they might actually be true, even if they were never supposed to be true in the first place. But, well, you know Rockstar. And on that note, I think that is going to be it for this week's episode of Mingles with Jingles. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope it's given you something to think about, maybe even something to laugh about. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.